On this episode of DC On Screen, we are talking all about Season 1 of Harley Quinn. Right after these commercials, or the singular commercial that we have no control over.
Mm-hmm.
We all love the low country lifestyle, which is why we should do our best to protect it. To get insurance that helps you protect your home from whatever the low country throws at you, contact CT Lowndes & Company today. Their local agents can review your coverage to help make sure you're properly protected. CT Lowndes & Company has been helping protect and insuring the Low Country since 1850. Visit ctlowndes.com to learn more and request a quote. That's ctlowndes.com.
Welcome into DC On Screen, episode 584. I'm David C. Robertson, this is my trusty co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
This is the podcast where we discuss the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of a property is valid, even if we don't want it to be. If it's been released, it is fair game. So beware of spoilers, and welcome to the show. And this is going to be a spoiler-heavy episode, where we're talking all about the first season of Harley Quinn, as I previously mentioned. Mm-hmm. This is a DC Universe show, of course. So,
the spoiler for me, I liked it. I want this to be valid. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I do. I love this show. And I didn't start out loving it. The first episode was okay, but I'll be damned if they didn't really sell me the subsequent episodes.
Well, I mean, they flesh out their universe a little bit. They do a lot of things you're supposed to do in the first season. Like they give you a starting point. The characters get a little more grounding as you go. Something happens that I'm sure we'll get to that really has some feels. And it has a pretty clear through line for the first season that I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the season it goes along the storyline of Harley's breakup with the Joker and her subsequent attempts to become a part of the Legion of Doom, to basically stick it to him and be, really just to stick it to him, even though she's claiming it so that she can, be I don't know, a fully actualized person. Yeah,
I mean, but that's how it goes post breakup. You think you're doing things for a reason, and it's really just bullfrogging, I guess I'd call it, peacocking, whatever you want to, whatever nature analogy you want to use. But yeah, you're trying to get some of your mojo back by doing things like reaction formation style to what you know what I mean. You show out a little bit, and Yeah, they had a pretty clear through line, and they had by the way, the actual interpretation of the Legion of Doom is my favorite thing that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Like
coming in and shitty late 80s training videos, like Bane bitching about coffee in the morning and shit like that. That a conference table style meeting where they discuss ridiculous activities and Joker pitches a tower and everyone's like, well, how much money do you need for that to budget? The like office style, overly bureaucratic treatment of Legion of Doom made me so happy.
Mm-hmm. I was really happy with that. One
of my favorite Banes on any format, by the way, so far.
I was about to say, it was sort of obvious that they had to do the Tom Hardy voice because that was like the general audience thing that everyone was familiar with. But I'm so glad they did because that was so funny.
It was great.
I want to explode it. Oh my God. Just so dumb and amazing.
Dumb in all the right ways.
Yes. It was just so brilliant in so many ways. And I loved Alan Tudyk just doing everything. Everything he did was
he did a great job,
man.
I mean, we could probably spend 30 minutes just talking about the cast because, before we ever watched an episode, you and I were blown away by who they'd gotten to do these voices. It is an incredible lineup of people. I mean, I'm looking at the IMDb right now, and I just, no matter how far I scroll down, there's somebody where I'm like, man, fuck, that's a great call.
And we got way more Wanda Sykes than I thought we were going to get too.
I know it was more than I was expecting, but fuck, her character is scary as shit.
Yes,
that caught me off guard.
Though, like, I don't think I really preferred her in her human form. Like, I just enjoyed the visual so much of that tax book smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, dear. Like, it must be 20-something entries down in their IMDb for just the last episode. No, I'm sorry. That's full cast and crew for the series. And there's still Tom Kenny as the arm in that Clayface episode. Rhea Perlman.
That was fantastic.
Pops up.
Their version of Gordon, Chris Maloney is doing the voice.
Yes,
and
the lovely.
Their version of their view of Gordon is maybe, and I might get some shit for this, but it might actually be the most realistic depiction of Gordon.
Like in a real environment where there was a Batman who just owned your entire police department, and like you were straight pwned. He can clearly do everything you're doing better.
Mm-hmm.
And he visits you personally to talk about cases. Yeah. That's a genuinely, possibly very realistic and practical interpretation of that character.
Did you get the impression they were drawing parallels between Commissioner Gordon's codependent relationship with Batman and Harley's codependent relationship with the Joker?
I didn't, but it's also because I don't know. I didn't think of, well, as I was about to object, I decided that that makes more sense. Because I was going to say that it's not codependent because I like codependency generally is two people who depend on each other in an unhealthy way.
Right. But they do because of like later on when we see Batman and his reaction, like his little screensaver is like is Gordon and him, or whatever.
Yeah.
So like
it's true, but it's almost and it was actually a really good scene when Harley and him are talking about, you do have people you care about, that kind of thing. And that's actually a good interpretation. They are a pretty good parallel because there is a way more giving on one end than the other. And that's actually just textbook for codependency. Like generally with codependence, you have, everybody has a thing they value or things they value with their relationship with other people. And sometimes like with acquaintances, you just enjoy like a quick remark with, friends or best friends or people you consider almost family. You have it's a very deep back and forth, but it's back and forth. And with codependence, you have the problem where it's not a back and forth. It's all forth. And you can have true codependency, I think, I guess what I'd label it, where you have two people who are just toxic for each other, but in ways that cancel each other out. Like you'll have somebody who's, physically a show out, like maybe physically abusive even. And then the other person who's emotionally abusive. And but they both keep coming back. This is a pretty good example of getting to see one side of that and thinking like, oh, I think Batman's kind of the bad guy in this relationship.
Oh, definitely.
Like he clearly does not appreciate that guy very much, and I think he should.
And I just love Gordon being like, we need a tank. No, Jim.
Yeah, he had this bumbling aspect to him. My favorite. The arm scene, the arm episode was really good. But my favorite was in the finale where they're talking about teaming up to get Joker. And he's like, oh, I've got a file. Yeah. And then he goes downstairs and finds it and picks it up. He's like, that rascal, he replaced it with some freaking gift card.
Yeah. Man, it's just, I feel like this is Gordon's like, he's broken. He's a broken man. He's like a parent with way too many kids. And except all of his kids are homicidal maniacs. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're looking at here with him.
Like, and this may make sense. Every time I picture him, and I'm not looking at a picture of him right now, so this is a good cross section. Every time I picture this version of Jim Gordon, in my head it's a full screen shot. His shoulders are slumped and his knees are slightly wobbling. Also, he hasn't shaved in 3 days for a job that he clearly needs to shave for by code. Like that's in the handbook.
Yeah. They should do an upcoming scene where like he's at some sort of like state convention or tri-state convention, police convention, and winds up at the bar next to Quentin Lance.
Nice. Very nice. Like hell, I would take the live action version. Like let Christopher Maloney actually do that role. Fuck.
Yes, absolutely.
He'd knock it out of the park.
Ron Funches as King Shark.
Just next level.
I had not considered that I would enjoy King Shark
as
anywhere.
Played by Ron Funches, especially,
or just
he has a brand.
Period.
Funches has a bit of a brand. I mean, he's a big puppy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to put a puppy inside King Shark, I think was a bit of a stroke of brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what the hell to expect. It's King Shark. You thought he'd be gruff, something like that. No. No.
I mean, he is. He is. Like when the inmates are yelling fresh fish or whatever.
That's my
and he just goes off on them. He's like, I'll murder every single one of y'all.
Yeah. Those are some of my favorite moments though, was when he went gangsta. He went straight gangsta. Like, you remember when he sneaks in, and apparently King Shark in this version has a high technical prowess, and he walks in and does that thing where he's supposed to take over the surveillance system or whatever, and he walks in and he starts hacking, and as he's approaching this poor guard at the night desk, he's like, I'm glad everyone's finally starting to appreciate my other talents, and then he just bites off that dude's head and sits in his chair.
Yes.
Fuck yes, that is fantastic.
But he's still so very much Ron Funches.
Yes. Yeah. I would not have had a question about who was playing this role or who they were writing it for. If you'd given me the dialogue, I think I would have been like, you want Ron Funches for this role, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
What was that bit he had in Powerless when he was like, where she's like, oh, you're from Atlanta. He's like, I said Atlantis? That's racist.
Don't remember that, but it's pretty good.
He was like a big old bright spot in Powerless, man.
I mostly enjoyed that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Short-lived and forgotten.
No, not forgotten. Some of us remember. Some of us remember.
It was really not bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it really wasn't bad. And it definitely wasn't going to make it on NBC.
No.
Just you weren't getting 7.5 million viewers for Powerless. I'm sorry. It wasn't happening.
Yeah. All right. I was surprised to see Jason Alexander as Cyborg Man.
I was. And honestly, I don't remember us ever
or Cyborgman.
Yeah, Cyborgman, which is my favorite part of that character.
Dude, I nearly pissed myself a few times on that episode where he turned into the car.
Yes. Yeah, that was great.
When he just kept transforming or whatever and just screaming in pain. I don't know, dude. I don't know why. That just did it for me. It was so funny.
Yeah, but it was great. See, did we know? I don't remember. We just there were a lot of people cast, and there were so many good ones. I don't remember if I knew going in that Jason Alexander was going to be. It might have been in my brain, but I
want to say we knew.
Probably, but he's got an unmistakable voice. He can't make it 4 syllables in before you're like, that's Jason Alexander. And yeah, like, oh, great character. Even a good arc for that character.
He did have a good arc.
And not a lot of the side characters got a really great arc. It's only been 13 episodes. There was only so much time, and they were very short. I mean, 20. This could have aired on network TV. They made it 22 unfettered minutes of airtime, and if you just splice some commercials in, you could have put it on wherever the hell you want to air it. I don't know who would take it. Maybe Adult Swim. Maybe. Like maybe. Oh, and that made me think of censorship. And can I just tell you my favorite joke of the entire series?
Sure.
So Ivy, Psycho show up at Psycho's ex's house to discuss this internet troll, right?
Yeah.
Who it turns out is his son. And they have what, by the way, is a wonderful conversation about I wouldn't have treated you that way if I didn't know what you were capable of and all that crap. It's just the inverse of like the normal father-son conversation, but it was well done. But my favorite bit altogether, and I want to say the guy's name was Chad, but that's just because it's kind of a meme right now to think of Chads this way. But it's Giganta, and there was a few jokes in there, but one, Ivy asks Psycho, like, so I just got to ask, like, how did the sex life work? And he's like, not great. Which was so good. And then she asked basically the same question about that. And then there's this Chadish character on, like, kind of Fabio is how they drew him, I guess. Long, flowing blonde hair, shirtless in the middle of the day on his couch. I almost don't want to judge. If I looked like that, I'd probably be shirtless on my couch all the time too. But he's just sitting there licking an ice cream cone. And then she asks, like, something about the sex life there, and Giganta says, like, oh, he's particularly good at cunnilingus. And then they cut over to him, and he, like, does this big swirly loop thing, and the ice cream is suddenly the statue of David. No. Statue of David Michelangelo. I wanted to call it Statue of Michael for a second, and my brain wouldn't let me. But even better than that, my favorite joke of the entire series was just when Ivy sees that and looks back over at him and just does the call me symbol and just goes back to that. I fucking cried. I literally cried laughing to myself in my office. I don't know why that hit me so hard. And later when she's talking, she walks in on Psycho and his son talking and says something about like, I didn't want to interrupt, and this looks like a beautiful moment. And then she just leaves and says like, I'm gonna go find Chad, wherever the hell he was. She was gonna put it on that dude.
Yeah, I was expecting that because you told me about it before I saw it.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. But
I know the rule. Comedy isn't as good the second time.
Now, what actually got me though, in a related note, pretty hard was when Ivy had gone full on Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, which they actually paid homage to in those sequences where she's like gigantic and suddenly Psycho is totally into her.
Yeah,
swooning over her, and they're like, "Oh, gross!" And he goes, "What? I have a type." We know this.
That's so good. And before what I did not expect to be a tragic moment in a series like this, she just tells Harley, who's in her palm, "Wouldn't it be fucked up if I just ate you right now?" Mm-hmm. They had a great relationship, those two. Like I got to see it grow. I got to see them mad at each other a little bit,
and I suspect we'll see it grow a little more.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of time. Even like in some real sweet moments. By the way, I didn't expect to have any deep feels watching this series. It just didn't have that tone to it. Like there were some feels, like when Harley gets played and pushed out of the helicopter by Joker. I mean, yeah, that was really sad. Like they played that really well. The music was great. Her animation was great. Like the emotion on that, was fantastic. I just thought it was a really well directed moment. Mm-hmm. And then even Batman catching her and just kind of telling her like he's never going to care about you like you want to. I forget what he said, but that was what he was getting across.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't that therapeutic to sound. That's just how I remember it. But yeah, like
it was a pretty touching moment, honestly, from Batman.
It was. I just wish I remembered the words, but I don't. But you know the sentiment.
I don't either.
And yeah, like between that and a couple moments even with Sid a little bit where he was growing and stretching and screaming. We're like, fuck. He's got some heart to him. I like it.
Yeah.
Even the relationship with Kite Man was kind of cute in a way. Like they were like, she had to defend herself because he's, fucking Kite Man. But then I don't know. It worked on a level where I kind of appreciate it. I was like, you know what? No, you don't get to have expectations about two people who care about each other. Fuck that. If they care about each other, that's what matters.
Yeah. By the way, my favorite joke of the series is from Kite Man.
What's that?
During the Legion of Doom battle or whatever, and he's like, "I'll save you" or whatever, and like jumps and like his kite extends and it's like all heroic, and then he just like floats out the door or floats out the window. Like the breeze just grabs him and he's like, "No."
That was really good. Because I'm sorry, Kite Man, unless you're falling deliberately at a certain speed, you have no fucking control over what's happening right now. You're just at the whim of nature. Mm-hmm. I'd love to think that occasionally he says like, "I'll save you," and then nature just makes it happen for him and he looks like a fucking god. But there's got to be that too, where it's just like, "I'm on it." Oh yeah. God. Oh no.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw him save everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
They were all riding on his kite, and it was awesome.
That is true.
Like,
and then Ivy got to have her moment of like, "See, you get it now." Yeah, I get it now. But still, the field. I did not expect to be like doing a little bit of sob crying at any point, but fuck yeah, they played that Ivy scene really well. Mm-hmm. That there were some. I did a little bit of like that, kind of catching my breath thing. Yeah.
And then Alan Tudyk's Clayface decided to do Kirk's eulogy from Wrath of Khan.
And you were back, baby.
And I was laughing again. And he was like, "As delivered by William Shatner." Like, oh, God.
Wait, no, I don't think he said that. I think he said by one James Tiberius Kirk.
He did say William Shatner, but he did say William Shatner's James Tiberius Kirk.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense. Okay. Because I remember Tiberius being like, okay, yeah, he knows his stuff.
Oh, yeah. He specifically called out Tiberius. Absolutely.
It's a hard name not to see to hear when you hear it,
But yeah, that got me.
All right, let's keep going through some characters. Dr. Psycho, what you think? Tony Hell. Tony
Hale.
fucking Hale. He's
I
a
don't
blessing.
know, man.
He's a blessing, that one.
He's great. He's great, and I feel like that we didn't get quite enough of just what it would mean for him to be that ousted, quote unquote, canceled supervillain. But I really like the idea of it, and I'd love to see more in the second season.
I think there's more time with him. I loved that he at least got a moment with his son.
Yeah,
because a lot of people kind of got a moment somewhere during these 13 short episodes, but man, his origin story within this universe, where he's just the guy who called Wonder Woman a cunt.
mm-hmm.
God, that's so fucking good. Like,
it was pretty funny.
That is a beautiful starting point for a character like his.
I don't feel like he's ever actually redeemed.
This is my favorite part. My favorite part of this is like Wonder Woman is so revered that even the villains were like, "Really? You can fuck off."
Yeah.
I mean, we hate her, but you can't call Wonder Woman
disrespectful.
That's
Just disrespectful
that.
across the board. Can't do that.
Oh, I loved that. And even when they go back and do those shitty, I guess maybe 90s videos, they do those shitty videos and he's in the background still being dismissed.
Yeah.
Like he was canceled, but they wanted to cancel him. Like he was not a well-favored member of the Legion of Doom.
No, absolutely not. By the way, I love Giancarlo Esposito as Lex Luthor.
I do love that guy in general, and his Luthor was fantastic. Also, another person I love, Rahul Kohli. I don't know how you say his name.
That potato sack son of a bitch.
That was maybe the best slur in the entire fucking series. I love that guy.
Yep.
I've grown to love him over the 5 to 6 years of iZombie that I've watched. That, by the way, is way better than it has any right to be. Genuinely think anyone who has any interest in that kind of format should definitely check out the show. It was great. It had a great ending, by the way. Like you don't feel like you wasted your time. But loved him there, and loved to see him actually get to play a DC character, because he's one of the people that DC picked to do some of their in-universe stuff, just interviews and shit, just to be a personality, like a talking head to talk to people. But I love the guy, did a great job, and oh fuck, did he end hard?
Yes, he did.
I mean, this is one of the few times I've seen the Joker just turn on one of the major DC like Batman Rogues Gallery people and just be like, nope, you're done, out.
Yeah. Like, holy shit, Scarecrow just got straight up murdered.
I mean, gone.
Kilt
to the dead.
I seen it.
like he's not coming back from, like, Black Mask level murdered. Which I think should be a new benchmark that we use, by the way.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's room for Lex to just be like, yeah, we just cloned him. He's good.
Yeah. But when I see someone that kilt on screen, I'm like, oh, that's actually it. That's all. Okay. He's dead. He is definitely dead.
I really loved that they sucked the freaking Justice League into the Book of Fables and just left them there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
This world has no Justice League, and Gotham ends in no man's land, essentially.
It does end in no man's land. There's a lot of hullabaloo about what could happen next season, and
purportedly Joker is normal now.
I mean, you see it on screen.
Yeah, I mean, his hand is normal colored.
And I hope it's just Alan Tudyk just talking normally. Like, I hope it's just him chatting like we do right now.
Yeah, what would be great is if, like, he and Harley briefly get back together, because he's finally the guy she always wanted him to be, but he's just still a dick. He's not psycho or anything. He's just a dick now. Like
some kind of like White Knight kind of thing where it's Jack Napier and...
Oh, they might do White Knight. I didn't think about that. I was thinking more like Brave and the Bold, where he was just like a guy who works in an office.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I got you.
But also, he's just kind of a dick.
I did really enjoy that part about the... and by the way, bringing in Ace Chemicals in this capacity was fantastic. But I did enjoy that the way he was going to end Harley was far worse than just killing her. He was going to make her just a normie again. Mm-hmm. And then to be able to use that back on him, which, by the way, another wonderful little moment in the last episode was just the moment where Joker realizes Ivy's back and just, oh, fuck.
Yes.
No-
That was so good.
Intonation in his voice, nothing other than, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Actually, when he said that.
No sly plan, no fucking Joker helicopter out the back. It's over.
When he said that, at that moment, I could have sworn I heard one of your anticipatory cackles.
Somewhere you did. Because I made one.
Like, you and I have watched enough stuff together that I can actually hear your reactions as I'm watching things.
Yeah. We've put in the time.
We have.
And there was a chortle, for sure. If I had to reenact it, it was...
No, that's not what I heard.
No, what'd you hear?
A little more maniacal.
The that kind of thing.
Exactly that. Yes, that is exactly the one.
I know my reactions. I've been around them.
I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. I saw it all. I don't think we can get out of this thing without talking about JB Smoove.
No, the plant.
Yeah, I've told you ad nauseum that if there was a reason for you to, even with your hatred of Larry David, if there was a reason for you to go back for Curb Your Enthusiasm, it would be for JB Smoove.
I don't have a hatred.
He is.
I have an active disinterest. There's the difference.
I understand.
But I do trust you, and I loved his plant. It sounds like such a fucking insult. But no, he did a great job as plant.
As plant.
Frank the Plant, apparently, according to IMDb. But no, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Ooh, water me now.
Every stupid line out of that plant's mouth was funny.
Yeah. It was great.
And
I
just love
they
JB
did a great
Smoove,
job with him.
Who else we got on the list?
Kaylee Cuoco and Lake Bell.
I hate to say it, but I think they're the weakest links of the bunch, but they did fine. Like, I enjoyed them. Like, they didn't bother me or anything.
No, well, that's the
You know
thing.
what I
We've
mean?
kind of already talked them up without talking about them specifically. Like, we've talked about the take on the character. Like, by the way, I have no idea what training Kaylee Cuoco has in doing a deep, like, fucking street level version of a New Jersey accent, but
Yeah.
did a great job. And honestly, I don't know Lake Bell from anybody, but it was a very kind of, forgive my term, wooden take on Poison Ivy, and it worked like a charm.
Oh, yeah. She's totally, like, you know what she might remind me of was Daria a little bit. Like, supervillain Daria.
Yes, that's perfect.
She's very,
Flat, very flat.
disaffected, very, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
I
And
buy
it
that
works.
entirely. And
It
it
works.
worked phenomenally.
I do think, like, Kaylee doesn't quite do the accent I want to hear with Harley, but she did a good job. Like, by the end of the show, it wasn't jarring for me anymore. I was just used to this version of Harley, and we've talked about this before. As fans of anything, once you've seen several versions of any given thing, you kind of take all of the iterations, and you have, like, you always obviously have your favorite, and then you have, like, a thing that everybody has done that you're like, this has to be done. And then when it's not done, you're like, well, that's not right.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't really go for that accent.
She gets enough of it. You can hear that, like,
she gets it here and
attenuation
there.
on certain consonants that she's definitely doing a version of Arlene Sorkin. But it's a version, which I appreciate.
Yeah. But she's not bad. Like, she's
No.
perfectly fine in the role. It's just my own stupid hangups that I have to get over.
I have seen 10 damn minutes of the Big Bang Theory. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I know some people were just yelling at me right now. I've seen so little of that I forgot the fucking title of the show. Mm-hmm. But from the couple minutes that I've seen, even the couple GIFs that I've seen, I did not know really what she was capable of. And man, she had a ton of range. Like, I have way more respect for her than I did before this series started.
Mm-hmm.
Out of complete ignorance, I just fucking didn't know her. She was on that one show I didn't like because it's just like it's Nerdsploitation, if there's such a thing, but in a way where you can tell when you actually hear the few jokes that I've seen people use from Big Bang. It's like they're pretending to understand what they're talking about or why so and so is wearing a Green Lantern shirt, but it doesn't seem like they really do. I don't know. Just
the show does really well with a lot of geeks because they actually usually do get the references pretty accurate from what I can tell.
I mean, I'll trust you. I've seen so little that any other opinion than mine is probably more valid. Fact.
But the tone is definitely such that the show should be called General Audience Laughs at Nerds.
Yeah, a little bit. And two major things for me. One, it has a laugh track, and I just can't do that anymore. I'm in a post-laugh track world myself, and I cannot watch anything with a laugh track anymore. I can maybe go back and watch a classic episode of TV, like Dick Van Dyke or whatever, and that it doesn't bother me as much there. But in a modern setting, I just can't do it.
Yeah, and I was just trying to, I think I actually have this as a saved draft or something on Twitter, but I was just explaining that I like everyone involved with IT Crowd. My wife loves it, but it irks me. I can't do it because of the laugh track.
5 minutes and just bailed.
I couldn't do it because of the multi-camera laugh track situation. I can't abide it in a modern world. And I've got it in a draft somewhere where I'm like, no, I can go back and watch old sitcoms and stuff I grew up with and be fine.
I can. Like I said, but old Mary Tyler Moore or something like that, I can watch. But it's in a box in my head where there was a time before and a time after.
Right.
And
time of diamond absolutes.
Yeah. I knew you'd pick it up. Thanks.
Yeah.
And there, part of it for me is I watched Sports Night, Aaron Sorkin's big first showrunner. I would say attempt, but it made I think 3 seasons, and I enjoyed the shit out of them. But in season 1, he had a laugh track, and the timing was different. In season 2, you could see a visible. It was sea change. Mm-hmm. So I get that, and I think in my head that was the moment where I just coffined away all of the laugh track stuff that I was willing to see ever again. And it was over.
Yeah, one of my big turning points, even though I still dealt with it, around the time that I got the MASH DVDs, or they started coming out, and I was because I was right on that bandwagon as soon as they started coming out. They have a feature where you can turn off the laugh track because Larry Gelbart and company didn't actually want a laugh track, but CBS or whoever it was like, no, it's a comedy, it's got to have a laugh track. Everything's got a laugh track. So they shot it single camera, but they inserted a laugh track later on.
Yeah.
Because CBS wanted it. So when you watch the DVDs and you could turn off the laugh track, the show is so much darker. It's so much better.
I've seen that done with The Big Bang Theory too, just as an experiment. That's probably the most I've ever actually seen is maybe in those videos where I'm just curious.
Well, there is a difference though, because MASH was made in a way where there aren't these long pauses while they're waiting for people to laugh. MASH was done in a way where they shot it like Scrubs, and then they just threw in very obviously recorded laughter where they could, and very low, almost like a rumble. And
yeah, okay, I know what you mean. They took out all the tinny, and there's just the kind of
But it's different because it doesn't come off psychotic like Big Bang Theory does, or like shows that were meant for a laugh track. MASH comes off as just being much closer to the movie, whereas just the humor has more of a tinge of sorrow to it. It's more gallows humor than you remember it being, and I think it fits the tone of that show a lot better.
That makes sense, though. That does. A quick sidebar problem with Big Bang Theory for me is, and it's a little bit irrelevant, was during the course of the lifetime of that show, the predominant theory of the origin of the universe changed from the Big Bang Theory, which, by the way, was a name given to it to try to detract from it, but it didn't work, and changed to inflation theory, which I know is not their fault or their problem, but it's still, every time I looked at it, I was like, that's not even accurate anymore.
Well, that's your issue, I guess.
I know that's me nerding out really hard on the nerd show, but
I wouldn't be surprised if Sheldon mentioned that somewhere along the line.
Yeah, he could have worked it in.
But what I think is most interesting about Big Bang Theory is that they did a spinoff that wasn't a multi-camera sitcom.
Actually, I've seen a few episodes of that because my wife picked it up. She doesn't watch Big Bang Theory, but she picked that show up and started watching it, and it's vastly different and way better. I would almost watch it.
Yeah,
and it's kind of interesting that it eventually gets to that point of a thing that I would never have the patience to sit and watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a bit of a weird. It's a crazy wrinkle in the TV universe. That one.
Yeah, it's like you talked about Mary Tyler Moore earlier. They went from laugh track, multi-camera to like single camera drama with the Lou Grant show.
Yeah, they did that too, and God, it was solid. I used to love Lou.
Anyway, we've strayed off.
We have
quite a bit from
Diedrich Bader.
Oh, he's Batman.
He's Batman.
He's like, if you're going, who's Batman? I'm gonna go Kevin Conroy. But then you're like, okay, who else? And I'm like, oh, Diedrich Bader.
Diedrich Bader.
Like,
all day, every day. I got you back on that.
Yeah, like no problem. There you go.
Especially if we're just talking about non-live action takes. Yeah, all day.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight next to your side to the death, sir.
He's the reason why sometimes I walk into my office and I see Batman and I think Peter the Breast Exam is on Channel 9.
Yeah.
Because chicks dig a dude with money. Not all chicks. A couple chicks had to double up on a me like me dude. I can't do it. A couple, the kind of chicks who would double up on a dude like me dude.
That's the line, I think.
God.
That's the line. The other line I keep remembering is, watch your cornhole.
Watch your cornhole, buddy.
Yeah, shit. Great job. And how much did it hurt you to see him just fucking tied up at the Joker's will in the last episode?
That was rough.
It hurt my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, how the fuck is he doing right now?
We don't know. Like, he was unmasked, and Joker was thoroughly displeased that Scarecrow would just take off his mask.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
which was funny because like, it seems like such an obvious move, but Joker explains it. It's like, do you not think I would have thought of that? You fucking idiot. All these years.
All the mystery is gone.
Yeah. Which was a fine point.
Yeah. I should have known something bigger was up. And I guess it is now that Joker's somewhat relatively normal.
Yeah. And I don't know where that's going to lead us exactly. But something happening in Batman right now in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just going to give you the premise, but it's going to be called Joker War.
Uh-huh.
And it's literally Joker declared kind of in like a one-shot kind of thing where they just had him by himself on the page. And he kind of said, wouldn't it be crazy if this entire time I knew his identity and I was just waiting for the right moment to do that? Wouldn't that be funny? Oh, wait. That's what I was doing.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And this Joker, by the way, lives in a world where there's the Batman who laughs and apparently 3 Jokers, according to one book that we eventually might get our hands on. It's a year late at this point. But yeah. This Joker is ready to take it to another level.
I'll get around to it.
I know. I'm not going to give you anything more than that, but it's looking like it's going to be a fun one.
Ooh. All right, what else we got for Harley Quinn, man? What you think?
Pretty great series. Don't really have much negative to say at all, honestly.
Yeah.
Some people just were... I saw some people just get off board because it seemed like it was trying to put too many jokes in a small space. And I feel like I could kind of feel you a little bit on the first few episodes, but it seemed like it was it spread its wings a little bit and kind of found a way to tell stories from different emotional sets all at once, which is what a good show does after a while. You want to feel some stuff, you want to laugh, you want to be curious, all these things. That's the point of fucking fiction. And I feel like they really got there really quickly. I mean, if this was done in as 4 movies instead of 13 episodes that were 22 minutes long, by the end of the first movie, you'd have been like, no, this show has some serious legs. I'm interested.
Yeah. Well, according to Decider, Harley Quinn Season 2 will begin streaming on DC Universe April 3rd.
I've seen that corroborated several places. That appears to be news.
Yeah. So it looks like they just did like 26 episodes and split it in 2.
Yeah.
And if that's all we get, I'm down. If we get more, I'm down. I have enjoyed it quite a bit so far. And
I kind of like, especially the outro of this set of episodes. It was, they were looking at, like you said earlier, basically no man's land. And Harley still just kind of leans in and is like, oh, it's so beautiful. Like, there's a chaos to her that it doesn't matter how good she appears to be at times. She still enjoys the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
I dig that. Yeah. But we get to also watch her care about her, straggly group of friends that she's formed.
Oh, we didn't get enough Jim Rash as the Riddler.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Just not nearly enough. Just not nearly enough.
Good call. Let me go through the. I'm just gonna go through the names I recognize real quick. And,
Sure.
Oh, Phil Lamar as the banker for 3 episodes because that's just a thing you can just throw into a show like this. Because Phil Lamar's a fucking treasure, is what he is. A goddamn national treasure. Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to think who played. Oh, Andy Daly playing Two-Face for a hot damn second.
All right.
On Bob's Burgers, I knew about that. And American Dad, I knew about that. I'm pretty sure. All right, Principal Brown in Modern Family. I thought that'd ring a bell. Doctor in Silicon Valley, I remember him there. Pretty sure Daily Show is where he got his start. Oh, well.
Oh, this guy's the principal on Daily. He's the principal on Modern Family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, I know who that is. Yeah,
I know that guy.
I can see his head.
Yeah,
his face. Whatever.
I got his headshot. That's good. That's enough. He was briefly at a show called Review that I wanted to watch, but I never could find an outlet where I could grab it without just paying money for it, and I just didn't have it. It was called Review, and by his version of Review, he'd be like, I think the premise was, I'm not going to review a book or a fun, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to review a lifestyle. So like in episode 1, it was like meth addict. It sounded like a funny premise. I don't know. I'm just going to be a meth addict for a few weeks and give you my take on it.
Well, Phil Lamar was also Black Manta.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt.
He was enjoyable in that role.
Yeah. I'm not even sure it's his first time as Black Manta.
Probably not.
Was he not Black Manta in Young Justice?
I don't remember, man.
I'm just going to scroll through real quick. Family Guy, fucking everything. Fucking goddamn everything. Young Justice.
I was happy that we got Frankie Muniz for an episode. That was fun.
Aquaman. Sorry. He was Aquaman. That's who I was thinking of. Sorry. Who'd you say?
Frankie Muniz.
That's solid.
From Malcolm in the Middle. I mean, a lot of solid people in here. Rhea Perlman, Susie Essman, like you said, Tom Kenny earlier. Will Sasso, like, oh my God, Wayne Knight was the Penguin. As soon as I heard him, I was like, that's Newman. That's friggin' Wayne Knight.
That's Newman. Yeah. That dude dies by dinosaur spit. I know that guy.
But yeah, it's been so far a really fun series. A lot of
says he's from Cartersville, Georgia. Didn't see that coming.
It's a quick little jaunt.
Georgia. Sorry.
Every year, every week.
Who's Jacob Tremblay? Seems like I know that name.
Good news, everyone. My brain's not working correctly.
I know that reference.
All right, so there were some people who were a little disappointed that Harley and Ivy didn't get together in this season. And now Justin Halpern has said it was important for us in season 1 to not get out, to not get her out of a relationship and then suddenly get her into another one. We wanted it to just be about the self-discovery and not self-discovery in terms of how I validate myself through other people. In the first season, we sort of stay away from too much of her being romantically involved in anything.
Yeah, I think it's right call.
And they asked, are Harley and Ivy ever getting together? And he says, we have caught a lot of heat for not having them together right away, and I get it. But our thinking was we didn't want Harley to jump right back into another relationship when she was on a journey for self-discovery. That felt like selling out her character. And for Ivy, we felt like it was important for our version of the character who has a bit of social anxiety and neurosis and scars from her life. We get into that more in the upcoming episodes.
She's literally a misanthrope.
To operate from that place at first. When you are emotionally hurt and haven't dealt with your issues, you don't always pick the best partner for you. In fact, most of the time you pick the wrong one. So we felt like both of these characters needed to go through some things emotionally and grow as people before they would be in a place where they could really and truly experience a loving relationship and make it work.
Could not agree more. Happy that he's standing by his work there. That's fantastic.
I'm a little sad because I really like Ivy and Kite Man. And I like Kite Man.
I do. And
I feel bad for that guy now because now he's going to be the wrong one.
I mean, you might be. I do like that they kind of made it a story arc to legitimize their relationship. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say, like, I have several relationships in my past, and some of them I look back on and think, oh, fuck, that was a bad call. And some of them I look back and think, I mean, it was the right call at the time, and I regret nothing.
Halpern adds, he says, this is the idea that we deal with in the second batch of 13, and that becomes about both of them seeking love. I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just say I think we get to the place where people want us to get to, but we do it carefully. We're not trying to bait anyone or tease anyone. We pay off things in a satisfying way, but we want to make sure we earn it. I'm sure I was evasive enough here to where I've spoiled it, and will also get yelled at. Fun.
I like this guy.
Uh-huh.
He's got a backbone about what he's doing, but he also understands the intricacies of how the internet is going to devour him. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, great. I mean, just fantastic point. Do you really just want her to jump into another thing? Because that's not going to make her a stronger person. You're going to make her stronger as a result of something. Let her grow. Let her stretch her legs. Let her do her thing.
But
that's the point.
I know some people have said, like, oh, this means that they are going to shut down DC Universe. They're going to go ahead and get Harley Quinn out of the way. Go ahead and pump out the last few episodes. Whatever, man. If DC Universe is done, it's fine. Shit'll go on HBO Max. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. Like, no. I don't think DC Universe will go away for reals. Not like they might stop making original shows and shit, but I think it'll still be around to some capacity.
I think it may get crumpled into something, but I think if two things. One, the Crisis episodes, especially the last one, but the first and the last one, the bookmarks, the bookends. I mean, they did a lot to externalize the idea that universe does exist somewhere in the landscape.
Or those three universes, yeah.
Yeah. But that DC Universe in general exists somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it kind of wasn't surprising. Like, from day one, since DC Universe came out, because it was Warner's and because things have been trending that way, it was a question. Is this going to be a thing that exists, or is this going to be a thing that's folded in? So when the news came that it was going to be folded in a little bit, or that it may be shutting down, we still don't really know. But when HBO Max came out, I mean, that was something we talked about extensively, was, yeah, this could definitely get folded in.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you have two streaming services? Like, it would make more sense for you in terms of resources to combine them.
Everything on one thing. Yeah.
Yes. And have us just pay for the one thing, because there's a price point at which you're paying too much for a certain set of properties and people drop out.
Mm-hmm.
They just do.
What I would do if I were them, and maybe I don't have all the figures in front of me. I don't have all the numbers. If I were them, I would take everything I could as far as streaming, as far as shows, both old and new, put it on HBO Max, and leave DC Universe up at a lower price point just for comics.
Yeah, agreed. I would pay $3 a month just to be able to get to the comics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all day. That would be a good deal to me. Especially because they got super ambitious at one point and said, no, we're going to get everything. The entire DC canon will be available. And I would really hate to see that project abandoned just because there was a transfer of how they were doing things.
I mean, they've got to compete with Marvel somewhere on that.
With the comics,
Marvel Unlimited is killing it. Yeah.
Oh, Marvel Unlimited is killing it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, I mean, I think they should do that. Hell, I would probably pay $6 or $7 a month for that. Maybe up to 10.
Yeah, I might agree too.
You're still paying a lot less than you would if you were getting all the books every month.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I
know.
God,
I know you know. And I know from 10 years ago when I bought all the books, I was just like, oh, this is disgusting.
I actually don't want to know how much I pay every month.
Yeah.
It's like, I can afford it, but it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough that I appreciate that it happens every week, so I don't have to see the monthly bill.
Yeah.
But I also just appreciate having the physical copy, It's something I'm willing to pay for.
But, as a person who used to buy, like, everything, there are so many books that I just don't care if I ever had the physical copy. Like, I think about them now, and I'm like, they're just in my basement.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, too.
I'll never go back to them. It's not like a Kingdom Come situation. It's not, Batman Fugitive or Bruce Wayne Murderer or whatever the hell it was. It's just,
Yeah.
It's just like that one shot they thought I would like of Wonder Woman that I didn't like, or whatever.
I definitely have some of that. And then every now and then I get rewarded. Like I'm guaranteed a copy of the Batman coming up, where they're going to introduce Joker's new hench woman.
Mm-hmm. How's he moving on finally?
Yeah, and who's going to be called Punchline, which is pretty funny. And I'm guaranteed a copy of this, and I've seen other people scrambling like, oh, it's the first appearance of blah blah blah. And the funny part is apparently DC didn't announce it as such. They announced it somewhere else. I didn't get to look at the details. The gist of it that I got was that they announced that there was going to be a character in another thing. And then they announced later that it was going to be the first appearance in another thing. And people got pissed because they're like, oh my God, how could you not tell me about this? Because it looked to me like people sniping first appearances of stuff, which is a real thing.
That's fun.
I laughed about the whole thing because both of the books they were talking about are already on my list. I'm going to have them outright, period. No problems. But there was some genuine anger about it.
I bet.
Best of luck to all of you. Not a problem I have right now.
Well, I've enjoyed this season. I look forward to the next one, which is coming up April 3rd, as far as I can tell. Yeah. And just to give it to me all. I'll take it. And
yeah, at this rate, it was super enjoyable. Fucking lot of fun, some heart, some good arcs. Yeah, that's what I want when I turn on a television or a computer monitor. More likely these days.
I wouldn't let your kids watch it, but
no.
And I can't speak for spouses. My wife is awesome, so she likes it a lot. Like we laugh our asses off at it every week. But my wife is special.
Your wife is that. Mine doesn't care about this shit very much. She is also special in different ways. Does not care about this shit very much.
I mean, just I recognize, like, I can't say like, oh hey, my wife likes it, your wife will too. That's probably not true.
No.
But
those two do not watch the same things.
But
and I know what both of them watch. I talk to them.
Right. We're recording this on my anniversary, so I feel the need to be like, my wife likes comic book shit.
Yeah. Your wet, dreary anniversary that matched your wedding day.
Yep. Take that, listeners.
It was a beautiful day as soon as we got indoors.
Yep. It was pretty nice in the evening after it stopped raining, though.
Yeah.
We got some nice sunset pictures.
I had a great time.
If I had not been in the pictures, they would have been nice pictures. Short
of you chewing the scenery by standing there. A foot taller than anybody else.
Short of me blocking the sun.
It was pretty good. Pretty sure you were the reason there was precipitation that day.
Gojira moved the clouds.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get out of here with this Harley Quinn review. Go watch the show.
Whatever else we reviewed in the meantime.
If you can convince your non-comic book loving spouse to give the show a tumble, I think they'll be surprised and possibly pleased with how silly and heartfelt it is.
Yeah, it was just genuinely a good product. I enjoyed my time with it. Happy I'm getting more.
It could actually be a nice entry point to something. I think that's where I was going with that.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's general audience enough. I think it is. It's a little out there, but it sort of pokes fun at the genre while also telling a good story within it.
Yeah, fair point. Kind of glad you brought that up. You can have some fun with it with a lot of people. I mean, if you at any point think it's taking itself seriously, just go back and watch anything that Bane did, and you know damn well that it knew what it was doing and was embracing it, and I love that.
Yeah. I really like Bane in this thing.
It was so much fun.
I kind of want to just hug him.
I know.
Like, you poor guy.
Yeah, I know.
They don't ever take you seriously, and you just want to explode things and break Batman.
I get it.
By the way, I really do like this idea that Gotham would just make a Harley Quinn highway because she held the city hostage or whatever the hell it was.
Oh, yeah, that was a good point. The idea that the villains have so much sway within the city that...
Well, they have the Legion of Doom hall. The Hall of Doom is right there in the middle of the city.
Yeah, that's kind of my that's what I was getting at, is the idea that they have just a corporate office. Everyone knows the address. They receive mail there, I'm sure.
It's like the Doom Embassy in the middle of Gotham. What the hell?
Yes. But there's so much going on there. Like, there's so much potentially terrible stuff there that... I like the idea that the rest of the the do-gooders in this Gotham kind of know that that's where they are, but we're not going to try to stop them there.
Mm-hmm.
Because that shit's going to get real fast.
Yeah, if there's a season 3, can I suggest you guys hire Ben Edlund?
Oh, God, he'd be a great fit.
I don't think he's doing anything for Amazon anymore.
Yeah, that's over.
Anyway, we got a news episode to do, so we're going to be out.
See you in a second.
You girls, you folks, thank you for listening. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen. Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.